Set to white view.
Hey, we are the McMillions.
Howdy, we are the McMillions, and today we are talking about the 3 pillars of consistency and why consistency is important in the home.
2 people are actually gone right now. BJ is at her place, and Von Cousington's in his room.
Yeah,
Under the weather.
he's a little under the weather, but the rest of us are here.
Welcome to the Families of Change podcast. That's what we wanted to say today. So we're going to go ahead and introduce ourselves today, and we'll start with the little guy on the end.
Hi, I'm Quentin, I'm 4. Hi, I'm Brighton, and I'm 7.
Hi, I'm DeVay, and I am 19.
Hello, I'm Remington, and I am 12.
I'm Dad here, Clinton, father of change.
I am Emma Sarah McMillion, and I am the mother of change, mother to 8 beautiful kids.
I am Ben Houston, and I am 10.
Hi, I'm Niall, and I'm 21.
And today we're going to be talking about 3 benefits of being consistent in your home. Now, consistency is one of those things that if you use it on a daily basis, it will produce much fruit. But if you don't use it, it can actually be a hindrance in your household, and not only in your household, but also in your faith. And so we just want to just do a shout out and tell everybody who is watching, this is the perfect time to go ahead and tag your friends. You can share this on your page, and I'm just making sure that we're live because I don't see it on here, but okay. All right, so thank you so much, Miss Maria, for sharing this podcast. So I have a book here, y'all, and it's called Becoming a Mother of Change. So if anybody has the Mother of Change book at home, we're going to be talking about consistency, which is on page 81 today. So that's where I start talking about on page 81. But we're going to talk about 3 reasons why building consistency will build stability in your home. And so one of the reasons I want to say is that it helps to reestablish boundaries, like when we're consistent in our home. It kind of reminds me, I write about a story in here about horses. I remember I was reading a story. Reading it, did you read it?
I think so.
There's a story about horses, and it's really it's a consistent one. I mean, I don't know. Have you ever had horses?
Nope.
Okay.
I know about horses.
We've ridden horses before. We have a whole horse story. We'll tell you about that on a different day. We had a getaway horse on.
Yep.
In Greece. We went on a crazy horse ride. But with horses, I'm going to just read it to you, okay? So I'm reminded of how horses are constantly testing the boundaries. Horses are extremely intelligent and known for their independent behavior. If smart horses will test the boundaries, how much more will your intelligent kids test the boundaries? And in page 82, I shared a story about how a horse would get out of a specific spot in a fence. And horses are so smart, though. I mean, if you don't repair the breach in the fence, as soon as you put them in there, they're going to go right back out. And if they figure out how to open up like a latch, if they figure out how to open up a latch on a fence, they'll actually go and use their nose or whatever it is, and they'll go.
Just like our dog Levi. He was so smart. We tried everything, and he kept on getting out.
Okay, that is true. That is true. And so did Niall.
I'd say he was smarter than a horse.
Yeah, Levi was smarter than the average bear. And so Levi was Niall's dog, but Niall, I mean, that is a good analogy, is whether it's dogs or horses or whatever. Dogs and horses, of course, are smart, but the point was that I'm making in the book is that kids are much smarter than horses. And so if a kid is smarter than a horse, and it knows how, and like a horse and a dog know how to find a breach or a hole or a break in the wall, like kids are smart. And I wish I could say that they were born little angels, but we have 8 of them, and we know that they're not born angels, right? Are you an angel?
Maybe not.
Maybe not. And so
Angels are perfect, so we're not perfect either.
Go ahead, Princeton.
So,
I think he's saying that he isn't an angel because he isn't in heaven right now.
Oh, he's just talking about heaven. Okay. All right. So with horses, they'll find a way out. Okay. And the point is that we have to reestablish boundaries through consistency. We reestablish boundaries, and so like for the kids, okay, they will try if we let them. I have 8 of them, and so I know that if you give them a little too much space, they'll like try to get a little bit more space. And so one of the ways my husband and I have built consistency, son, what would you say, like, Daddy and I have been consistent as far as, you know, our personalities or how we work together and how that works for you guys?
Yeah, so consistency, yeah, so like they don't agree on a lot of things, put it that way. They don't agree on a lot of things. But what they do agree on is that if one of them puts down a rule or if one of them puts down like a rule or a boundary, they're not going to, you know, if mom says, hey, the kids are not eating, you know, not eating wheat today, he won't, you know, go beyond that and say, hey, you know, I know mama said that you guys aren't having wheat today, but whatever, we're doing whatever we want today. They don't cross each other's boundaries, even though they disagree a lot, because in life you will never agree fully with another person. I disagree with them, they disagree with me a lot. Because that's the reality of the human condition, really, is that if we were all perfect, we would all agree all the time and there would be no strife, and, well, we would be in heaven. But we don't live in heaven. So,
We don't.
really, is consistency is we don't have a consistent idea. We not have consistent ideas or consistent. We not have like consistent goals even. But what we in your household is totally. We may not have consistent. We may not have consistent. What's the word? We may not have consistent methods, but we all have a consistent goal, and we're working towards that consistent goal. So we all have they have the goal of raising the kids to be families and parents of change of their own someday. I have a goal of being a father of change someday. Right now, you know, sometimes we do disagree, but, you know, we be consistent in the areas that we can be consistent, and so that's why boundaries and stuff are important.
Yeah, and I think one of the main things is that there might be disagreements, but the biggest thing is that we don't contradict each other. And so I think the strength of the fact is that Emma, Sarah, and I will hold firm to one thing that we do. Like if a rule is put out, she says, you know, a no, then my answer is a no. If a kid comes to me or whatever like that, is that her no is my no and my no is her no. It's the same thing. So we're consistent with all, and that we don't contradict each other. So like if kids know that you know that they can't manipulate either one of us, and so if they try to, then, you know, they generally do that one time, because then we set the boundary, and we know that they'll know that by trying to go against or trying to go around one or the other parent is that's twice as bad as actually just disobeying. So
We have a family of 10, okay? So we have 8 kids, and so one of the things, our family is not perfect, so I mean, we're never going to be sitting here and trying to portray a perfect family. Like he said, Clint and I don't always agree with things, but that's human, and we'll do another podcast another day about that topic. But the main important thing is that each one of us have a voice in our house, and that's very important for us to have a voice. And we have a voice, and it doesn't mean that we like what each other have to say all the time, okay? But we do give them the right to have a voice and say what it is that they need to say. So, I mean, we don't have to agree with each other all the time, but but we do. And Niall, I would disagree with Niall in the method. Son, you said that we don't have a consistent method, and I think that's actually one of the strengths that we do have, is that I do have a consistent method with you guys, and the consistent method that we have together is that we, Remington, what would you say that Daddy and I are consistent about?
Well, you guys are always consistent about having us raised inside of a godly manner. So, like, if we wake up, I like reading the Bible, and like something that I like doing that they've taught me to do is that when you wake up, the best thing to do is to memorize. And to wake up to your chore, I do my chores usually. I make my bed, brush my teeth, get dressed, and then I walk downstairs to my Bible, and then I will take away from what I learned. And then when like Mommy comes down from waking up, then I'll tell her what I learned. And then that's just something that I have been doing and that they've raised me in doing. So it's that they've always been consistent in teaching us inside of a very godly manner.
Thank you, Remington. And so, and thank you. I want to say hi to those who are watching right now, and thank you for sharing our podcast. I see some of the people on our side group here are sharing our stuff, so thank you so much. Princeton wants to say hello. So one of the things the first thing is it reestablishes boundaries. So we're talking about how kids, they have a tendency to want to push boundaries, and so by being consistent, it helps us to create boundaries, all right? And the number 2 thing it does is helps to improve emotional stability. Our family is big. It's not perfect, but one thing that we do is, because we have consistency, then we can actually have a big family and still be very productive. We can still get a lot done, is because we all know that, like, one of the things I see the most, and I write about it in my book, is that one of the most consistent thing I see in households is that the parents are inconsistent. And so when the most consistent thing is that parents are inconsistent, you'll see it in the behavior of kids. And not that our kids are perfect, but you'll see kids who are running the household.
Yeah.
And so, Dave, what can you say just about how consistency helps with, even with think about how we handled little boys and stuff. A lot of people let little boys and kids run the household. Like, how have we been consistent on just creating boundaries of saying, we're mom and dad and their kids?
Yeah.
What does consistent mean?
That means we do it on a regular basis.
All the time we do that thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, so basically, I guess for kids and stuff, my parents have been very consistent the entire time that they keep themselves in the authority of the house, and making sure we know our place within the home, learning, I guess, how to respond and react to people in authority. Even it helps, I guess, even in jobs, and being able to handle stressful situations with bosses and stuff, because if you can work for my mom, you can literally work for anyone. I've been fired a lot of times from home jobs, and it's saved me, I guess, from being fired sometimes in real life jobs, because they're like, man, how are you smiling even though she's yelling at you? I'm like, nah, it's fine. It helps you become a more strong person. And so I guess knowing your place and knowing how to react in emotional situations or all that stuff, they basically really taught us how to, I want to say I'm an emotionally super stable person, but I can fake it pretty good. And so I think that really helps in life, just being able to teach you, they give us a lot of tools consistently to be able to have real life experiences outside the home, and teaches us how to react to them. And we've been able to be in some really important rooms with people who normally we wouldn't be able to, as a regular kid, be in the room with, because we were conditioned at home to act like that, to have that poise, I guess, and that respect for elders and for people in positions of authority. And so, it does give us an upper hand in some situations, because most kids would not know how to react in those situations, I guess. So.
I think, and that's for what she said about being able to work for me, you can work for anybody. And I've actually instilled that in my kids. I've actually told them that while they've been growing up, because I've raised them as entrepreneurs since they were small. I mean, Von Kensington was willing and done his little Play-Doh man. Play-Doh. It was Von Play-Doh. Yeah. So my kids have been selling things and doing entrepreneurship since they were.
I've been selling books since I was 4, and I got the idea at 3.
Yeah. So he was an author at the age of 4. He was one of the youngest in the century when he published his book. Von Play-Doh. Yeah, it was Von Play-Doh. So he had his own little product, Von Kensington, when he was 6. So anyway, with that said, though, is that we talk about improving emotional stability, and one of the things I raise my kids with, what was that one show with Trump? That one show where he used to like fire people.
Oh, you're fired.
What was that show?
It was like inside.
Do you guys remember? Put it
They
on.
were competing to work for his company. Yeah.
They were competing work with, I don't remember what it's called, but anyway, like I used to watch that program, and it was kind of like if you can work for him, you can work for anybody, right? And so the goal was to just get through and be able to be hired, right? And so raising my kids, I've always just told them, because I have a very high standard, and I haven't been soft on them. A lot of parents are enablers, and they are just feeding their kids ego and stuff like that, and that's definitely not me. Yeah.
Even on one of our president books, it says he's on a reality show. He's on a reality show.
That's all. It's just
You're
I have it.
fired.
I could go get it.
Okay, that's okay. So anyway, it helps you with improving emotional stability. And when she's saying about like her emotions, she has the great thing about my kids, and this is one thing right now, is that all of our kids who have worked for other people, when they finally got the opportunity to work for other people, they have been able to work in high stress situations because I've allowed them to grow in entrepreneurship and to practice at home basically, and being in high I don't see age as a limitation. I see it as an opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, age is an asset in our family, and so that we definitely tell our kids not to despise their youth, right? And so we're consistent in the aspect that we also across the board, regardless of their age, is that they. So regardless of their age, we tell them basically that they have a place in life, right? They have a place in regardless of their age, that they have an ability to continue on in what they're doing, right? And so anyway, so yeah.
Yeah. So basically, it helps improve. So if you guys just got on refresh, we're talking about 3 benefits that consistency helps to build stability in your house. So the first one is it reestablishes boundaries within your house. It helps the kids who keep wanting to push the boundaries to reset the boundaries and say this is the limit, you can't go beyond it. It helps to improve emotional stability, which Dave talked about, like her being in the workforce. I mean, she's had opportunities. She's closed like 10K jobs. She's been excellent at sales. She's worked with multimillionaires. And so she's been able to work, my son is a rocket engineer. And so they have been able to achieve high things in their life because we've had high standards in our house. And you can't have high standards without having consistency. So if you say I have high standards but you don't have consistency, it's impossible. You can't have high standards and lack consistency. If you have consistency, then you can build high standards upon that. What do you say about that, son?
Yeah, you definitely can't. It's been definitely a key to all of us being where we are today is definitely having consistency and having consistency in our standards specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So number 3 is it helps to battle against double-mindedness. So staying consistency helps us to battle against double-mindedness. So double-mindedness is when you say one thing and you do another, or you are just not being who you say you are. And another byproduct of being inconsistent is that you will breed double-mindedness. So one of the things I talk about in my book is that double-mindedness is very common. So when I do coaching and I do parent coaching, one of the top things I've seen in the parents that I've coached is double-mindedness, whether it's in the mom side or it's the dad side. And if you have both the mom and dad who both have double-mindedness, that is a very toxic combination. Mm-hmm. Does anybody want to talk about how having a mom and dad who have double-mindedness is a toxic combo?
Well, something I have to say about being double-minded. Well, this is with any bad habit, I guess you could say. I guess you could say over time it mutates itself. After mutations, it kind of fits into the environment. So your spiritual response system can't see it. Well, it's just hiding right there in plain sight. So like if you let it go too fast, it will grow. Like how bacteria might grow, and it mutates over and over again to make your body so it can't identify it. Same thing with like bad habits; they'll mutate themselves in different people until it just sticks in one person, and then it kind of just like duplicates almost. So
It's like a sickness, like a disease in the house. So if you have a mom and dad who are inconsistent, it's very detrimental. If you're trying to raise godly kids and you and your spouse are double-minded, it's very detrimental. But if you have a single parent who is trying to be consistent, and then you have a spouse who's double-minded and inconsistent, it's very frustrating.
Yeah, especially when you have standards, right? When or even like if you have standards, or you have a strong moment, and then your standards, you set standards for the house as a family, and say this is the way we're going to go, and then a week later you kind of just let those standards waver, or you get tired, or you get basically just get tired. And,
or like fleshed out, or you just like you're like forget it,
and you forget those standards, right? It was like an emotional response, almost kind of a deal. And so, by being double-minded, is that those standards are wavering just as much as your mind is wavering, right?
So I agree upon that. So this is, like I said, 3 benefits of consistency: reestablishing boundaries, improving emotional stability, and the last one is it battles against double-mindedness. Now, Maria said, how old do you feel the child should be to start teaching about consistency?
Oh, yeah, I would say
Yes, just immediately.
Yeah. I mean,
Because if
As soon as
you
I can
change your
understand.
standard as the child ages, then are you really being consistent?
yeah. So
As soon as they can understand it.
now what I would say, like if they were like Dave, she was like Dave was my babysitter basically when I was younger, and
Mine too.
and she was always consistent on making sure that she would lay down a blanket, and we would have our blanket time, and we could only stay inside that blanket, and we would get a consequence if we got out because we weren't listening to the boundaries. And
But
so
you'd get like nothing if you stayed in it and basically learned.
if
You would get a reward.
Yeah, it was just like a little nothing, like a cake thing if you stayed in the blanket. If you didn't, then you'd like get your toys taken away or whatever.
and that was always
Because like they'd be running around everywhere and like stay in the blanket.
it was just like
Lifetime.
training for us to know, like, this is a boundary, don't go on this boundary, otherwise you lose stuff. If you stay in the boundary, you'll have favor. So like same thing going on, like if we listen to God, we'll have we'll have favor. If we go outside, then I guess you could say the favor drops.
So one of the things that's an excellent question, Maria. Thank you so much for asking that question. So just so you know, like with my kids, I immediately, like, consistency was immediate, boundaries were immediate. And one of the things that's different about my parenting style, like I said, if you haven't got my book, it's Becoming a Mother of Change. It's 400 pages, but it's very small chapters, so you can literally read it in one sitting, one chapter in a sitting, and then have something to practice and do. But this is 20 years of experience right here, and I'm telling you, with the kids when they were all small, one of the things I've done consistently with them is that when I've raised them, I understand that they're going to be adults one day. And if I put the work in while they're young in the early years, then I'll put less when they get older. And most parents do it differently. Most parents, they wait 7 or 8 years. Like, kids are just, run amok. They're just, being all crazy toddlers and writing on the wall. And there's no boundaries.
Yeah, maybe I already did plenty of that.
Well, it's not like they never tried. We had some that we've had the kids who marked up their whole bodies, okay, and maybe a couple, okay, Remington would be one of the guilty parties. But obviously there are, a 2-year-old doesn't know, but I'm telling you, we didn't allow it to continue. So it's not that they never tried, it's just that we created the boundary and consistently kept the boundary, so that now a lot of times what I'll see is in households is that siblings don't keep the boundaries for each other, and so there's no consistency, so they all just let each other do crazy things, and then they all they all like gang up against
Yeah,
the mom to do
yeah.
crazy things and like, you know.
Right, yeah, and that's the deal is like if it's a household setting, is that fact is that we also employ is that if we set a rule, and that if one breaks it, like I say, we set a rule, and if the ones break it and there's other ones in the room, then they all will be held accountable as well, because it's it's a consistent rule. So if one's breaking the rule and everyone's letting them, it's the same thing as helping them be accountable as well. So it's accountability for everybody, because otherwise kids will overrun. It's just simply by numbers.
All right. And then one of the things, like how, just for consistency, is how have we taught you guys consistency as far as like, teaching you guys that we have like a vision, some things we've done to be consistent, and we work together, and we just let the kids know. Like we say a lot of mottos like the McMillions, leave things better than they found it or find it. There's just different things that we're always teaching the kids so that they understand that we always tell them that a good name is more valuable than gold. It's more valuable than riches. And so if you're raising your kids to, just be rambunctious and not to be aware of their surroundings and not to be respectful, then that literally is putting a bad name on your family. And so like, we're not somebody who's trying to be something that we're not. So we're not trying to, keep up with the Joneses by any means. We want our kids to be real and consistent. We want them to be genuine and authentic. So that's not the case with most people. They want their kids to just be good when they go to the store, but then they let them run around like hellions at the house, and then they wonder why the kids are acting out of control in the store. So the consistency is that what you see in the store or at an event or at a conference is what's going on in our house. That's we're still creating that same atmosphere. I used to take my kids when I was a director for a women's shelter. I had 4 kids. One of my babies was on a backpack. I had all of my kids were under the age of, I think they were all under the age of maybe 7. Now, do you remember when you used to go to the Haven?
I was old enough. I was helping paint.
Yeah, we were definitely older than
5.
that.
Oh yeah, definitely older than that.
So it was 2008 is when I worked there. So 6, 7,
That's when you
8.
started working there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He would have been.
you stopped in like 2010, so yeah, I would
So-
have been like 8 or 9.
Yeah, so they were all under the age of 7. I stopped working there in 2009. So whatever the age that was. So Remington, yeah.
It was like 2009 was when I stopped.
Yeah, definitely. So anyway, they were all under the age of 8 for sure. Okay, so around that, and there were 4 of them. And Von Killington was on a backpack, so he
With
was
the exception
2000.
of Bijou.
Bijou, she was born 1999.
So 2000.
She would have been like 10. Bijou was like 10 or 11.
Okay. Whatever. 2007. However, the oldest one was in. So Bijou would have been 8. She was born in 1999.
So just stopped doing
Anyway, okay, we get caught up in some details around here. We're a very factual family. So anyway, the whole point is I can clearly say they were all under the age of 9. I had 4 of them, and they used to attend board member meetings with me, and they all sat quietly. I could take them to a 12-hour conference with me, and they all sat in the front row quietly. And that doesn't happen by accident, and it's not that they weren't the kind of kids who were adventurous or interested. It was training. And so that is, how I've raised all of them, so I can take them everywhere. So my goal as a mother of change, and his goal and our goal as a family of change, is to help you create a family environment where the mom isn't always freaking out and feeling like she's losing her marbles, and the dad isn't, what is a dad? When the kids,
Stressed out, just high anxiety, stressed out, basically just wants to check out kind of a deal, because, wants to have, peace, right? Kind of a deal. A lot of times they go to work and then they want to come home to, a home that's got some peace in it too. So big times they just check out, right? Because it's, rambunctious, whatever at home too. So.
Yeah, my mom's on here. She said consistency was very important to me when raising my children. So thank you, Mom. You did a great job. My mom was a young mom. She was, just in high school when she had me. And I just want to say thank you to my mom. She was an original mother of change, and she wanted to do things differently. And so one of the things my mom did, I can always remember, is that she was always asking other families, like, what they were doing right and trying to learn. And she passed that on to me. And so I hope you guys are, I hope you guys feel blessed tonight that we have talked to you about 3 points of being consistent, how it benefits your family. It helps to reestablish boundaries. It helps to, number 2,
It helps to improve emotional stability, and it battles against double-mindedness. Number 3.
All right, and it battles against double-mindedness. So we hope that you guys enjoyed these 3 tools. If you have little kids, I just want to encourage you. This time shall pass. They will get older, but I do want to encourage every mom who's out there who has little kids, take the time to train them when they're young. Give them time. Expect more of your kids. I think a lot of people don't expect much from their kids except to drive them crazy. So if you expect your kids to drive you crazy, they're gonna drive you crazy. I don't expect my kids to drive me crazy. I expect my kids to bless me, and I've literally, not that they're perfect, but literally my kids are a blessing to me, and I've worked to raise kids who are a blessing, and so it is possible. So I just want to encourage you to put the work in while they're young. If you don't know what that looks like, get my book, Mother of Change. It literally, Maria is on here right now. Maria is in our coaching group. She is a grandmother. I think, Maria, your oldest kids are in their 30s. And Maria has this book. I believe she's in our coaching group she's been the longest in our coaching group, and she is learning how to be a grandmother of change, okay? And so we thank you, everybody, for watching. Yes, Maria said that she noticed within her family that they weren't teaching consistency until they were 7 or 8. So, Maria, I'm so glad that you asked that question. It was very important. So we just say thanks to everyone for watching. Remember, you guys can find us on Instagram at Families of Change. Follow us on YouTube. We have a whole bunch of videos from years now on YouTube. And then we also have we have a new author here, but he's sleeping right now. But anyway, pick up my book, Becoming a Mother of Change. And of course, if you've already got that one, this is my newest book. It's Ferocious. It's a devotional for fierce females. And literally every godly woman should get this book, okay? So we'll see you next Sunday on the podcast. And you can also find us on YouTube.
You want to tell them about the new Kids of Change series?
Sure, you can.
So the Kids of Change series is a group of books that came out recently. It includes our Kids of Change Glide Guide, and along with a couple others. His book is still in the making. It's going to be added to a series later. Von Kensington's book. Von Kensington's book is finally finished, and it's also inside the series.
The Way of the Lion. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's The Way of the Lion, and is Brighton's in there?
And Brighton's is also.
I'm pretty sure Brighton's Dino Adventures is in there.
Yes, and they can find it. Just look up Emma Sarah McMillion on Amazon. You'll see all my books come up, and the boys have books as well. So thank you very much for watching. It's been a good time. Thank you for your questions. Make sure to tag and share this broadcast. God bless you, and have a good night. Remember, y'all, go out.
Change the world.
And start at home.
See you later.
Later. Thank you for watching.